Hello, and thank you for joining us on our extended coverage of the severe weather that's been happening. I'm Ruben Diaz.
I'm Yvonne Cooper. We are live right now, streaming on 24+, so thank you for joining us there. Ruben, we have a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, there's been a lot. There have been storms all throughout the Mid-South, have impacted hundreds, if not thousands of people at this point. The sun has come up, so people are starting to survey and see the damage, get an idea of kind of what's been going on. But there's a lot of that we have to talk about. But I think first, we probably need to touch base on the cause of all this and the weather itself.
Yes, right? And the weather that's to come, because we're not out of the woods yet. Let's turn now to meteorologist Trevor Burchett with a look at your forecast and what you can expect today.
Very rough day of weather here in Memphis in the Mid-South yesterday. Several tornadoes reported and several towns across the Mid-South forever changed by yesterday's storms. And unfortunately, the weather does not get much better for the next several days. We are still tracking a major weather impact with potentially some more severe thunderstorms and a pretty serious threat of flooding as well. We're going to have several rounds of thunderstorms that continue through the day today, into tomorrow, and into Saturday. So we have 3 more days of rain and storms to go, and all of that is going to add up. We already saw some flooding last night. We're going to get in total, some spots 10 to 12 inches of rain. That is going to lead to a serious flooding threat, especially once it all gets into those creeks and streams. There's also a potential for today, tomorrow, and Saturday for at least some severe weather. Now, I do not expect as serious of a severe weather threat as what we saw yesterday, but there's at least the potential for some strong thunderstorms. Through the day today, expect off and on showers. Some could be heavy, leading to that flooding threat. If you get caught under a heavier shower, you could see some flooding begin to pop up. And then by this evening, the threat is there for some heavier, maybe even strong to severe thunderstorms. These are your storm threats that we're expecting this evening. Again, not as high of a threat as what we saw yesterday, but still at least some storm ingredients in place. By this evening, we could see a couple of storms that produce 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, maybe a little hail, and the potential is there for a couple of tornadoes. Again, I do not expect anything as serious as what we saw last night, but I can't completely rule out a tornado or two. Of course, the biggest potential now is for that heavy flooding rain. So a couple of showers to start off your day today. Many of us might actually get a break at some point. Notice in North Mississippi, a little bit of a break or two as we play that through. By 4 p.m., that's when we could have some of those stronger cells start to pop up. And then heavier thunderstorms by this evening. So by 7, 8, 9 p.m., that's when we could have another heavy round of thunderstorms. Storms continue into the overnight hours and into at least tomorrow morning. I think we'll wake up to some heavy thunderstorms early in the morning. But I think most of the day tomorrow, we might actually get a little bit of a break from the heaviest rain. We will start out with rain in the morning and then mostly dry by the afternoon with just a couple of spotty showers and thunderstorms for your Friday. And then Friday night, that rain will pick back up. We're likely going to see showers continue off and on for most of Saturday as well. And we're going to have to watch Saturday as well for a threat of some severe storms. This is what the severe weather threat looks like for the next few days. Today, especially this evening, looking at a level 3 out of 5 risk. So kind of a medium risk for severe weather. Nowhere near as high as yesterday. But again, still something to watch because some storms could be strong. By tomorrow, again, that's the day we get a little bit of a break. Most of the severe weather stays to the west. There could be an isolated strong storm or two, but many of us will get a break from the heavy rain and from the severe weather threat for Friday. Saturday, that threat comes back. We get some more heavy rain and the potential for a few stronger thunderstorms with much of the Mid-South in a level 2 to a level 3. We'll see a little bit of storm energy creep back in today. That's why there's that potential for some stronger thunderstorms. We get a break from it tomorrow for the most part, and then another round, another burst of storm energy for Saturday before this finally all clears out Saturday night. Of course, a big concern is going to be that flooding. We've already seen several inches of rain. That's already led to some flooding. We do expect anywhere from 6 to 8, 8 to 10 additional inches of rain, which is likely going to lead to some very serious flooding, especially along and north of Interstate 40 for the next 3 days. So that's what that weather impact alert is for, that serious flooding threat with up to a foot of rain total across the Mid-South. That is going to lead to some big flooding concerns, especially if you live near a creek or a stream or an area that typically floods. The next few days, you really need to pay attention. Off and on showers and storms today. By this evening, some could be severe right around dinner time. The potential is there for some high wind gusts, hail, maybe a tornado or two. We get a break for the most part tomorrow. There will be some spotty thunderstorms, but it won't be a steady rain. Heavier rain returns Saturday, and some of those storms could be severe on Saturday as well. By Sunday, this all finally comes to an end. A couple of morning showers Sunday, but Sunday afternoon looks much better with a high near 60. Sunny and cool next week with highs in the low to mid 60s.
As you can tell, we still have a way to go with these storms, but here's a big headline that you should know. The storms that we just had overnight were deadly. As of right now, Tennessee leaders confirmed at least 3 deaths, one in Obion County, one in McNairy County. And those deaths were confirmed by TEMA, who's out there assessing damage as well. And the Fayette County Sheriff's Office also confirmed 1 death. As we gather more reports and information, we'll of course pass those details on to you. As a part of our efforts to keep you updated on our severe weather coverage, you can download our 24+ streaming app to watch on your TV for free. Remember, the 24+ streaming app is where you'll have up-to-the-minute severe weather updates as we work to keep you and your family safe. If you're watching us right now, we're glad that you know how to use it. Continue to do that throughout the day.
Yeah, important to note. I mean, there's so many more ways to get the content and the information that you need, whether it's our YouTube channel, it's our streaming service. We're coming to you in so many different areas now, so you don't have to wait for that information, especially on a day like today.
Yeah, and the 24+ app on your phone is also perfect, just in case with the round of storms that are still coming, if you lose power, you can always watch us on your phone.
Yeah, just hit the little watch now button and it goes to the live, to whatever we're doing live at that point in time. A lot has been going on since this time yesterday when the storms had not rolled in. We were talking about they were going to be hitting yesterday afternoon, and when they hit pretty hard, pretty heavy. They
did. We're actually getting a closer look at some of the damage that's now left behind.
Yeah, let's go to Selmer, Tennessee, where several businesses, several homes were hit. This map right here is going to give you a pretty good idea of where Selmer is located in relation to where Memphis is, right? So is Selmer about an hour and a half east at that point in time of Memphis? That's where our ABC 24's Leah Williams is at right now. She joins us now live. Leah?
Yeah, Ruben, we're going to take a close look at some of the destruction here. I mean, the aftermath from this storm is actually pretty crazy. Like, this was an apartment with multiple families that lived in this building. The windows are shattered, the roof is gone, and one man that lived here actually told me that they heard it all. They said it was a terrifying experience when that tornado came through, and they actually had to hide in their bathtub, which is a safe space to go to if you do need somewhere to go during a tornado. I mean, look at this debris, just wood everywhere. There's tin that could have been a part of the roof. You could see these shingles on this wood that may be a part of another roof as well. There's power lines mangled all in, a tree snap, just a lot going on, a lot of devastation. You can see the top of that tree here that snapped and fell, and it brought a power line down with it. That power line snapped as well. So it's just a lot of debris. It's going to be a pretty big cleanup process here. Now, if you keep looking here as well, you could see this pile of debris here. A neighbor told us this was a brick house, and now it's just a pile of debris. You can see some of the bricks still here on the ground, and he told us that the neighbor's car actually is across the street now. And across the street, there's also more damage and devastation. We don't know yet how many homes or businesses have been impacted. We've been reaching out to officials all morning and haven't been able to get those numbers just yet. But again, in Selmer, just a lot of devastation, and it's going to be a pretty big cleanup process here. But neighbors have already started coming out this morning and kind of assessing the damage. There's also, along with the building and all this debris and the home that's gone, there's also multiple vehicles damaged. The windows are busted. There's tires that came off of the vehicles. Just a lot of damage. I can't stress enough how much damage was really done here. And this is just one apartment complex in the town, but multiple vehicles. Look at this red truck here. The tail light is gone. The back windows are busted. It's just a very sad situation. But of course, all morning we've been out here just looking at some of this damage and talking to neighbors about picking up the pieces and what's next. But the aftermath is honestly shocking. I've never seen anything like this, and it's going to take a while for these people to recover in this town. But again, they've been out this morning kind of trying to start picking up the pieces. We've seen Tennessee state troopers out here helping people. We've seen police officers out here. We've seen the McNairy County Sheriff's Office, and everyone's just kind of trying to start assessing these damages and figuring out where to go next. I mean, look at this, a piece of a roof on top of this van here. You can see the shingles. That might have been the roof from this apartment complex, actually, and more shattered windows. There's tree branches in this van. I mean, some of these vehicles probably will end up being a total loss just from the damage from these storms. But again, we'll stay on top of the latest and what we can learn about the damages. Unfortunately, we do know that one person did die in McNairy County, but what we don't know yet is what city that was actually in.
Leah, let's have you stay with us because we want to definitely talk about what we just saw. I mean, an almost indescribable amount of damage. Those cars look like they have been in wrecks at that point. It looks that bad from this vantage point. How bad do those vehicles look just right there when you're right next to them?
I think that's the perfect way to describe it. Like, it almost looks like they got in a bad wreck or something in one vehicle. You can't see it from here, but it's across the street and flipped upside down. Like, there's tail lights missing, there's windows busted. I mean, there's dirt and debris all inside of the vehicle. Like, it's just bad is the best way to describe it, honestly. It's just a very, very bad situation here, Ruben.
Another thing for you, we know that the city of Selmer has about maybe 5,000 people. It's a small town and community, but a very mighty one. And they've been through this before a couple of years ago in McNairy County. How are people kind of bracing themselves? How are they preparing, knowing that there are more rounds of severe weather to come this week?
Right now, honestly, it seems like they're kind of just trying to see what's left of what they have now, and they aren't even looking that far ahead into the future because it's not raining right now, but it has been raining all throughout the morning. But yeah, people are out here right now, and they've just been kind of picking up their damage, trying to see what stuff that they could still salvage, what they could still take, what's a total loss. So a lot of the people that we've talked to haven't even looked that far ahead to start preparing for the next couple of days.
All right, Leah, we're gonna let you go right now. You can see, if you're watching, you could see the fog and condensation on the camera there as they've been there all morning long. It's been raining, it's humid, it's hot now in some of those areas, and they're surveying all that damage. Just almost hard to describe.
It is, and the heat and humidity is definitely not what we need going into another round of storms. It just gives them more juice, honestly. That's why yesterday was so impactful, because of the heat, humidity, all of that was circulating in the atmosphere. So hopefully things will get better. Hopefully we can figure out what resources are available for people that have been affected there.
For sure. A few things to keep in mind, though, as you're out surveying your own damage, and even for Leah Williams and the other people covering these events, there are pieces of house around. There's probably nails and parts of shingles, and so it's a dangerous situation. And what I'm saying to that point, when you're trying to go through this kind of damage, even once the sun comes up, you really have to be careful. Downed power lines, all sorts of dangerous situations at this point.
Yeah, it is. It's dangerous, but it's also so emotional. We're looking at this and we see damage and debris, but people are looking at this and they're seeing their homes, the things and the properties that they've worked so hard to collect, family items that they may never be able to restore or get back. So it is a heavy and heartbreaking day for so many people that are dealing with this. Yeah,
and it's just the beginning, unfortunately, right? We have storms all week long as they're trying to recover and find their own things, find their pieces of their homes and the pieces of their belongings that they're missing. So it's going to be a long process. Hopefully the weather will give them some breaks so they can get some of that done.
Hopefully sooner than later. We know the National Weather Service is going to be out today and surely the next several days assessing the damage. And we've been getting a bigger picture of just how much storm damage there actually is in the Mid-South. Yeah, so this behind us is actually from Senatobia, and this is in the dark. So imagine what that's going to look like once the sun comes up today. And in the dark is always one version of storm damage, but man, when the sun comes up,
it gives you a whole different view.
So true. I mean, just a mangled wreckage here of what looks to be maybe part of a home,
Yeah.
chairs, wood, everything just left behind.
Yeah, we'll be going out there at some point in time to get a better update of what they're going through as well.
Right, because this will take days, if not weeks,
Yep.
to recover from. Tornadoes like that one, like this in Lake City, Arkansas, destroyed homes, but it also took lives. As communities recover, our team is working and doing our best to be your eyes and ears on the ground, to keep you informed and to keep your family safe.
And that wasn't the only tornado. Several tornadoes touched down. In fact, RDOT's cameras captured this tornado in real time. Look at the top of your screen. This gives you an idea of the size of that tornado. Look at the trees by that tornado, and then look at the size of that tornado. Meteorologist Trevor Burchett actually caught this and brought it to you live during their severe weather coverage on Wednesday evening. I remember I was watching him do the coverage, and he spotted that tornado on one side of the road and said, hey, stay with this. Let's watch this. Well, I believe this is a tornado about to cross the highway. And then he was able to see that tornado and bring it to you live while it was happening. I identified it before it approached the highway and then tracked it across the highway. I mean, it was a very almost surreal moment to see it happen live.
Seriously, and if you blinked at the wrong time, you would have missed it. It was that lightning flash that illuminated it so that we could see it as it was happening and as it was trucking really quickly across the highway. It was moving.
Yeah, the thing that was really kind of the scariest was that at this point, this is tornadoes going by and the cars are still heading
going
that way.
Yeah.
And the whole time I was thinking to myself, man, somebody needed to alert those people to get off that road, stop where you're at and be safe, because they were literally driving into a tornado at that point.
And this is why you hear us say all the time, get off the roads, stay off the roads, be at home. That is exactly why, because you just don't know when they're going to pop up.
Absolutely. So that's not the only image. Obviously, we've been getting images all day of what people have been able to see. So let's take another look at some of those.
Yeah. These are some of the photos that many of you have been sending us. Know that we appreciate them and that we're using them to help tell this weather story. This is from Stephen Crystal in West Tipton County, where you can see just what looks to be another storm wall and a tornado that was forming again yesterday.
Yeah. Take a second, though, and look at the size of the power lines right there next to the poles for the power lines, and then look at the size of that tornado and that cloud. That is
the size and scope of it all.
You put that in perspective for what those people were dealing with in Tipton County in that area. Imagine opening your back door, your front door, because you heard the sirens, you think something's going on, and you look out, and that's what you see on the horizon. I mean, it's got to be just frightening for sure.
It's unimaginable. You mentioned hearing the sirens, but also I wonder if they heard what sounded like the train. Yes, right? Because I hear that all the time, is that's what it sounds like. Personally, I've never experienced that. But I wonder if that's what they heard too.
You hear that because of the wind and the way the wind's bouncing off everything. I lived in Oklahoma for several years. I did the news in Oklahoma for years in Tornado Alley. I lived in Tulsa, so we always kind of got the back end of the tornadoes. And I can tell you, you can definitely hear that train sound. It's that whooshing sound that's coming through, and it's kind of the last little warning you get before the tornado actually gets to your area.
Well, thank you so much for sending us that. Here's another one. This one is from Lori Knoll from the Millington Southwest Tipton County line of just another large funnel cloud that was starting to form there.
Yeah, it's these are the images you see when you think about a movie.
Yes.
You know, you watch Twister and you see something like that and you think, oh, that's not really what, a tornado looks like, right? That's a movie. But that's real life for some people. And it was real life for some people yesterday as they dealt with that in their own communities.
Absolutely. But there is some good news in this story. Okay. We did call the Tipton County Sheriff's Office this morning, and dispatch confirmed that everyone in Tipton County is safe.
That's good.
Which is amazing considering what they just went through 2 years ago and considering what they saw. It's incredible.
Yeah. So these are the images when you see this, and you're at home maybe, and you didn't experience some of this because maybe this severe weather didn't hit your area specifically. But then when you can kind of put it in perspective and realize that our neighbors to the north, south, east, and west all may have experienced some version of this, it definitely helps you understand, man, that yesterday was a rough day for a lot of people.
It was. And so hopefully the next few days will not be anything like this. That's what we're hoping for. Yeah. But if it is, know that we're here. And we're going to help you get through it no matter what happens.
Yep. So we appreciate everybody who sent us photos and videos. And we know there are a lot more out there that you want to be able to share. So you can share those with us. We just ask that you be safe. before you do it. We don't want you running out in the middle of the storm trying to take that captivating photo. Wait till it's safe to do it, and then send those to us. You can share your photos. You can share your videos. Join our Facebook Weather Watchers group. Trevor is always going through that group, looking for new members, looking for videos, looking for pictures. Just put your name and where you're from, and you could be, we could be using your content during our newscasts, during our live streams, during all of the stuff that we do, the content that we produce, because we want to get your view, your perspective as well.
Yeah, and even if you don't see tornadoes, like we didn't see any tornadoes where we live in the Memphis area, and we were very grateful for that. But a lot of us were seeing hail. So if you see hail or any kind of strong winds that you can capture on video, those are also things that you can send to us too.
Yeah. So this is, if you don't know where this is Selmer. This is where Leah Williams is at right now, and they're just giving us an idea of what you can see out there. This is them live right now, or maybe some video they sent. Either way, this is video that shows you what these people are dealing with as they're waking up and the sun's coming up this morning.
Yeah, and storms strong enough to send a car flying through the air, or to burst windows, or to knock down trees and homes.
Look at this tree.
I mean, my goodness.
This tree is snapped in half. They're right above that apartment complex. And I mean, I can't imagine how frightening it was what those people in that apartment complex were dealing with, because that is literally right on top of their home.
Right. Exactly. It's frightening. And we're still working to gather a lot of information for you. At this point, we don't have a clear scope on just how many homes or businesses were hit, but we're working to get that information for you. Yeah. Leah Williams is live there in Selmer, just trying to track what's left and speak to people that are there as well.
Yeah, but she was able to speak to somebody in Selmer as they start picking up the pieces of what's left behind from the storm.
I've been trying to fix it, and it was sitting on the rim. And I guess my car was spinning in circles, because, I mean, my car did not look like that at all. Oh, yeah. It was almost pristine condition. This right here, we're guessing it's from the store over there. I mean, you can see how big that tree is. We've had plenty of storms. It's knocked limbs off, but, I mean, it pulled that thing right up the ground, man. I mean, it was two of them right next to each other. The whole, like, if you look right here, oh yeah, where it's cracked? Yeah. We really got hit with the worst of it, because the tree, but the rest of it, all of them's leaking because it tore the roof right off. But other than that, I'm glad all the people down there was able to make it. When the fire department showed up, there was a fellow, an old guy down there that I keep an eye on sometimes. He was trapped. And this lady here, she was so shook up that I don't even think she knew what was going on.
The windows right out of that thing, right?
Oh, yes, it did. I mean, they are old, but you can see it rip the doubles out down there. It was just wild. It's most certainly real, but it feels like the most unreal thing I've ever been through.
He said something that was very poignant. He said, it's certainly real, but it feels like the most unreal thing I've ever been through. Right. Man, those are, like, when you put that in those words, it just kind of hits you.
Yeah, because literally, almost everything he has, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. And I can only imagine what that feels like. It is unimaginable, and it is real.
Yeah. So we were able to get this video this morning when the sun came up of that apartment complex that he was talking about, and kind of where he's saying his vehicle must have been spun around because it wasn't facing that way when he went to bed.
Right.
It's facing a different direction, and there's a car across the street. Leah Williams telling us there's a car that should be at that apartment complex that's across the road. Mm-hmm. There's trees snapped and down. There's power lines down. The house is completely just mangled.
Yeah, and the National Weather Service is going to provide us some updates. We don't know how strong that tornado was to do all of this damage and to lift up cars and to ruin this home. But we're going to get all of that information to you and actually get a good count of how many tornadoes we actually had touch down. We could see several, but we may even have more than that. that are confirmed.
You're right, and that's something that nobody's really touched on yet is exactly how many, because sometimes it's hard to get that number for several hours, maybe a day or so. But there's going to be a lot more than what I think people realize, because you're talking about the ones that you can see,
yes,
right, or the ones that damage the homes and the areas. But there's probably a lot that were in rural areas that touched down that people didn't even know about.
Yes, and when the dusk and dawn really started and we started getting into nighttime, it made things even more difficult, even for our meteorologists. They said we can't even rely on the weather and storm chasers at this point because it is dark, and these tornadoes could have been rain wrapped as well. So it just made it even more difficult to see. That's why I really cannot stand severe weather at night.
Yeah.
It makes it even more eerie and scary sometimes because you just don't have the visibility that you would in the daytime.
100%. But then once the daytime comes up,
this is what
you're left with, right? All right, let's get another check of your forecast so you can get an idea of what you can plan for, not just for today, but for the coming days, because there is more weather coming. Meteorologist Trevor Burchett has that for you.
I know it's not what anybody wants to talk about, but the potential is there for more severe weather today. Now, I do not expect anything as bad as what we saw last night. That was a level 5 out of 5. Today, a level 3 out of 5. But there could be storms this evening that could turn severe. High wind gusts, hail, maybe a tornado or two in some of the strongest storms, but again, not quite as high of a risk as what we saw last night, thankfully. Heavy flooding rain, though, a big concern with some of these heavy storms today and for the next several days. Off and on storms for tomorrow. We might actually get a little bit of a break from the heaviest rain tomorrow. It'll be more isolated rain with some pop-up showers and storms. And then heavy rain and thunderstorms return for us on Saturday. Some of those could be severe. And you add all that up, we're talking about, in total, some areas seeing 10 to 12 inches of rain, which could lead to some pretty serious flooding. This finally clears up by Sunday. Clouds will stick around with a couple of morning showers, but mostly dry with a high near 60. Next week looks much better with highs in the low to mid 60s under a sunny sky.
All right, just a lot more to continue to watch here when it comes to the forecast, but also we're continuing to get that video of a lot of the damage that we're seeing behind from all of these storms that we're tracking overnight.
Yeah, one of the hardest things is going to be that it's going to rain so much today while people are trying to get out and recover their things and survey the damage. It just makes it so much more difficult, right? It's hard. You see the damage. This is some of the damage that was in Senatobia, I believe, right? And so we don't even know for sure what the extent of this is yet because you can't see it in the dark. Now, as the light comes up and officials are able to get out there, we'll get a much better idea.
Yes, we'll get a better understanding, a better glimpse of all of that that's going on, but also know that if you have been impacted by any of this, that there's some resources in your area like shelters, things like that. If you've lost your home, there is help that is available to you. And we're going to make sure we stay on top of that to bring you the latest updates so that you can gain access to all of that information as well.
Yeah, so that's kind of how the process of this goes, right? Like, so you cover the storm when it's happening, the meteorologists do, then we cover the damage after the storm. But then that next step is, what do we do next? What happens next? And the next step becomes the resources, the help, the community embracing each other to get through these times that are often very, very difficult to do. So while it's hard, very hard to watch literally people's lives destroyed throughout a storm, the silver lining usually is that we all find a way to come together and get through it.
Exactly. We encourage you to be neighborly, especially those that are living in Tennessee with people who have lost loved ones. They've not only lost their home, they've lost their family members as well. Check on them, call your neighbors, be friendly, and just help each other out. It's that time.
Yeah, it's almost time for us to end this live stream, this extended coverage, but we want to make sure you get a chance to see, if you're just tuning in, the extent of some of the damage that's in Selmer. We've been there all morning long. Leah Williams has been there giving reports, and when the sun was down, it was hard to tell how much damage was there, but now
you can see it. You can see it clearly. Just so many cars tossed around, windows blown out, just debris, wood all over the place. It is quite a mess. Leah is going to stay there with us through ABC 24 News midday at 11. So Ruben and Leah will be tag teaming this along with Trevor with just some team coverage of what's there and what's to come. You'll also hear from one of the young men that lost his home in all of this as well.
Yeah, if you didn't get a chance to watch that live when it happened, when this stream ends, rewind that. And go watch his interview as he takes you through, literally through the damage, finds his car and explains how his car isn't where it was before and how the foundation of his apartment complex, the place that he lives, has now been cracked and ruined, and just it's really, really powerful to watch, for sure.
It is. So many people displaced at this point, and our thoughts and prayers are with them at this time.
Yeah, so we will be continuing to update you from here. There was obviously a tornado in Lake City, Arkansas as well. That was a massive tornado. There were several tornadoes that touched down in the area. The whole Mid-South affected at this point.
Yes, and everybody is watching us right now, watching us rebuild, recover, and also go through what's to come.
Yeah.
So stay with us. We'll hold your hand through it all, no matter what happens.
All right, we'll continue to keep you updated on air, online, and right here streaming as well.